What I have here is the Marin CX 29er at Interbike. Mark Vanek and Yuri were so happy to show me the goods. They were real proud of this bike. Yuri Oswald has been racing it and will race it this year, and he says it's pretty special. So really what we should be talking about here is the frame. The frame is full carbon. It's not monocoque. It's a lug design. You know, manufacturers go back and forth on which is better. Their point here was they're able to control the tubes a lot better. Monocoque is good, but it's a black art on using balloons and whatnot to get the proper amount of material on each part. So with tubes, they said they got that dialed, and they're real proud of this. The frame itself, I haven't weighed it, but they said it's 1,100 grams, and that's about 2.5 pounds. Crazy light for a 17-inch frame. They have a tapered steer tube, 1.1 to 1.5 for rigidity here. I think on a 29er that's key because you have a longer lever arm to torque your head tube, and they're not that big. These head tubes, so it's key to have tapered. And then the real magic on this frame, so as you can see here, since they have a tapered tube, they're able to put more material here and drive that down and shape that into the bottom bracket for rigidity as well. So the real magic on this frame, start with this one. It's thin. This doesn't need to be so strong. You want it a little bit compliant up and down to give you a smooth ride. But here, they spent some money in research. This is thick. It's reminiscent of the road bike, the famous road bike, the Cervelo R3, where it's so huge here, huge chain space. The idea is when you pedal, you don't want to do any of that flexing, dancing movement. It just moves forward. And I can attest to that. This thing accelerates crazy. So, super rigid laterally, but this one is actually thin. As this is thin, this is even thinner. You don't want a lot of material here. That defines your ride and how smooth it is on your behind. And on a hardtail, you're pretty dependent on the suspension abilities of your seat stay and your tires and the big wheel. And then finally, a little piece of magic here is they're able to put the brake inside the rear triangle. And aside from looking good, nothing sticking out here in cables and whatnot, what it does is they're able to rest the brake on a structurally sound chainstay. This is already thick, so to rest it here means this thing is rigid. It doesn't vibrate, doesn't squeal so much. But at the same time, they're able to make this light. You want to optimize this for rideability, not for supporting a brake that wants to squirm on you. So that's neat. The other thing they did is internal cable routing on the shifter. It's in here somewhere. Just beautiful. So I'm pumped about this bike. Made me look faster than I actually am. And I've just enjoyed riding it. You know, for a hardtail, there's no reason to go 26er. You know, even at 5.8, 5.5, you got to go 29er. It's just so much smoother, and it's faster too. So the downsides is so it's a 33. It's a $3,599, $3,600 bike. Fairly cheap for carbon. Fairly inexpensive for a carbon frame of this quality. But the idea, the downsides, I really didn't like the components that they put on it. When I weighed it off the box, it was 25 pounds. And this bike should really be a 20-pound bike, you know, with a frame this light and this responsive. So the wheels, these are not actually the stock wheels. They use Sun Ringlet Black Flag. The cranks, the seat post, and handlebar, they're just not the lightest. So, you know, I'll leave it at that. They could have gone with lighter stuff to match the frame. The other thing is this fork, aside from being heavy, is has no compression damping. Meaning when you go out of saddle, when you put the hammer down, it starts bobbing on you, and it doesn't do the tail justice. You know, you want a fork that you can control this action on without locking it out. So could have done a little better there. Also, it's a 3x10. No need for a 3x10 these days. You know, you should be 2x10, especially on a 29er. You got enough circumference, you got enough gears to climb anything and go as fast as you want. So that would have saved a little weight too. So, but all in all, frame, I'm still finding out if you can buy the frame separately. But frame is awesome, and the parts are bomber, not the lightest, and you can upgrade here and there to make it a real good race bike. Thank you.